Okay, so in the last one, I gave you a very brief overview of what is workers' compensation. So now let's look at some of the websites I'm providing you. And I do want you to come in here and dig around and find some stuff. And you'll be doing this over the next several weeks. So if you go to the Department of Workforce Development and click on Workplace Injuries, you have the workers' compensation page here. There's a cute little video you can watch. But then they've got it set up by workers. So it's information for workers who need to file a claim and know what their rights are. For the employers, as far as what's required of them, and some workplace safety tips. For insurers, so they're the ones who write the policies. There's some information that they need in order to, it's basically paperwork and what the law is. And then for medical providers, based on whether there's a permanent partial or temporary partial disability, they have to fill out certain forms and they have to use certain languages. There's even some information about evaluating. So all these different groups are involved. You can click on this right here. It's got basic facts. I believe it talks a little bit about the history. Yeah, a little bit about the history of work comp. It gives you some of the numbers. What we have here is 2018 because it's a several year lag. It takes them to update some data. But you can see just kind of generally what they're finding based on the data from several years ago. Let's see. So there's legal resources, council's committees, pending reports. You can look up your employer's insurance carrier if you have the information, mileage reimbursement rates for claimants, benefit wage computation. So pretty much everything you would need is contained here with the workforce development. I believe there's also some data and stats. Let's just jump over to that real quick. Oh, nope, that's not. I'm going to provide this to you. So under Department of Workforce Development, this used to be housed under the Wisconsin State Laboratory Hygiene, but now I opened it up. Last spring it was, now it's not. Now it's here again. So again, we've got the 2018 numbers. We can click on here, and it'll give us a table of the claims that were filed for 2018. Total number of claims, a little over 20,000. There's the total amount. Indemnity paid. The average per claim was about $10,000, $10,052. And then they've got it by cost. So this is interesting because you can then compare the analysis you do for the course project against what the state numbers are. They got it by body parts. I believe they have it by nature of injury, which is the outcome. I believe they have it also by county. So you get the total number of claims, the total amount paid, and then the average paid. And that's an interesting comparison that we can do. What's really interesting that I just came up with when I was playing around here is you can look at each year. And what's interesting is we were at 10,000. If we were to go back just 3 years to 2015, is it still 10,000? The answer is, well, it was a little less. It was 9,400. Remember before I had said that Wisconsin we don't pay as much for premiums. So I was right there. Let's go back to 2012, almost 10 years ago. And the average was 11,200. So it's actually gone down in just the last 10 years. Let's go back a little bit further to 2009. It has gone, it's still around 12,000. So even now we're around 10,000. It used to be an average of 12,000, which seems counterintuitive. It should get more expensive because medical is getting more expensive. Healthcare is more expensive. Wages have gone up overall, the average. But so for the average to go down, that means in Wisconsin, we're doing a much better job of either limiting the severity of the claims, so the amount that's paid out, or the frequency of them. Probably a little bit of both. That's really awesome. What's cool is you go back to 2008. They did it differently back then. Okay, this is going long and I apologize. But they have the median, and that's something I want you to focus on because they've got the min, the median, the max. That's something we're going to be looking at when we do our course analysis, the course project. The median is $900. The average is $2,000. Ooh, that's a lot lower, isn't it? Let's see if we scroll down, we see anything that jumps out at us. The amounts were a lot lower 13 years ago. Now, why? Well, laws may have changed. Healthcare costs may have changed. The way they charge things may have changed. There's a lot that can go into it. So this is a wealth of data that just sits there. You can get on here and play around. If you remember the NAICS, the North American Industrial Classification System, injuries within calendar year. These are older. So just interesting stats you can also get on the Department of Workforce Development. The other page I want you to become familiar with is the Wisconsin Compensation Rating Bureau. This is where they do calculations for premium amounts and all premium rates, I should say, and EMR. They calculate the EMR for companies. So this is for carriers. We've got carrier information over here. We've got agent information. They're the ones who are selling the policies. And then we have employer information. So there's the employer forms. They can look up their own experience modification rating. It's also called the MOD or the EMR. If you have to get into an insurance pool, which you don't want to, it's here. Contractors' premium adjustments. And then you've got a reference guide. I think you should look at this stuff. One of the things that's going to be interesting is we can't look up any mod. You need special codes from the company. Is the class code lookup? Because usually in our loss run reports, we get to see what the class code is. It's kind of like a job title, but it's a code. And there's a rate associated with it. And so we can type in the 4-digit class code, and we can see what the rate is that's set by WCVR. Because you take the rate times by the payroll for the people who, the number of hours worked, the payroll. No, it is payroll. It is payroll. The amount they're paid divided by 100. So it's the rate times the payroll divided by 100. That sets the base premium. Because you add up all those different rates totals for a company, there's your base premium. Then you multiply it times the EMR, and that's what their adjusted premium is. That's what they're going to have to pay to share risk, to have things covered. So they're paying a premium, and then sometimes it's deductible. So we're not really getting into that. We will later when we talk about enterprise risk management, but sometimes there are different tiers of policy that, just like when you have car insurance, you can select your deductible. If it's a higher deductible, you pay a little bit less in premium. If it's a lower deductible, you pay a higher premium. They do the same thing. And they also can classify what types of claims they'll cover, whether it's the really expensive ones, whether it's the less expensive. There's a lot of variability, details there. But this is stuff you can all look up. So I want you to go to all these different sites, and I've got them all linked through the Canvas page. Just kind of play around, ask yourself some questions, look at some manuals, just kind of report what you find. We will be coming back to this and other things as we have guest speakers and everything else, but please take a look at these things, and I think that's all I wanted to cover. So I'll end it here quick. Good luck with the exam, and let me know if you have any questions.